This is by far the most important aspect of your entire credit score. What's going on, everyone? My name is John and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be going over what makes up your credit score and how you can increase it fast. And if you stick around to the end, I'll be going over 3 tips that you can implement today that will help you increase your credit score by hundreds of points in just 30 days. The first thing that makes up your credit score is making on-time payments. This is by far the most important aspect of your entire credit score. This actually makes up 35% of the total score, and really it's just showing lenders and as well as the credit bureau that you're able to make payments on time as well as in full. The key here is that they are looking at the total number of payments that you are making on time. So for example, you could have one credit card for 3 years equaling 36 total payments. Now, if you miss one of those payments, now having 35 out of 36 on time, your on-time payment rating is going to be 97%. However, if you have 3 credit cards in that same 3-year time span, that's 108 different payments that you have now made on time. And if you've missed one, now that's 107 out of 108, totaling a 99% on-time credit payment. According to the almighty Credit Karma, to maintain or have a perfect credit score, you need to maintain a 99% on-time credit payment history, which if you just pay everything on time every single month will not be difficult to do. But this is really showing the benefit here of having multiple different credit cards possibly, because now you can have multiple payments that you're paying each and every month, raising those total number of payments that you're making each month, helping you get this perfect credit score. Now, to be considered delinquent on payments, you have to actually miss an entire 30-day period for it to be considered late. So for example, if you pay your bills on the 15th of every month, you actually have until the following 15th for it to be considered late. But please do not do this. Just pay it on time every single month, and that way you're on your way to a perfect credit score. Okay, the second aspect of your credit score is known as credit utilization. Now this makes up 30% of what the credit bureaus are looking at. So as you can see here, the top 2 ways of on-time payments as well as credit utilization make up a whopping 65% of your total score. Now you might be asking, what is credit utilization? Well, to break this down simply, credit utilization is essentially how much credit you are using versus how much you have available to you. For example, let's say that you have a $5,000 credit limit. Well, the credit bureaus are going to be looking at how much of this total $5,000 are you using every single month. So for example, if you're going out and blowing 90% of that $5,000 every month, you're going to be seen as a riskier borrower, and in turn, they're going to lower your total credit score, which is probably going to make you pretty upset. Whereas if you keep this under, let's say 10% each month, so only spending $500, you're now seen as a bit of a more safer bet, and they're going to be increasing your score each and every month as you do this. So it's extremely important that you keep this credit utilization under 10%. Realistically, if you can keep it under 5%, that's when you can start really seeing some benefits, but under 10% is a great way to start as well. So instead of using up 90% of your total credit limit, you could be smashing the like button 100% of the time on a video like this to really make everybody happy and increase the total score of this video. Thanks again. Now, a quick note here is that the credit bureau really cares about the percentage of your credit utilization and not necessarily the dollar amount. Now, really a quick tip to help this credit utilization out is to actually try and get your total amount of credit available as high as possible. So this can either be through one credit card of having a very high credit limit or through multiple credit cards as well. Now, I understand that there can be some misconceptions here of having a high credit limit. But if you know, for example, that you're not going to go out and sporadically just spend more money just because you have a higher limit, I would highly suggest that you try and get much more credit if possible, whether that be through multiple cards or raising your total credit limit on one of the cards you already have. This way, when you go out and actually spend money, that $500 on, let's say, $10,000 of credit limit is now a much lower percentage in total, helping you get a better credit score every single month. Okay, the third aspect of your credit score is the time or length of your credit history. When it comes to getting a perfect credit score, it is also extremely important to understand how long you have had credit for. Now, this isn't necessarily the total length of time that you have had credit. Really what they're looking at is the average per card length that you have had. Let me explain. For example, let's say that you have one credit card that you have had for 10 years. And then today you go out and open a new credit card. Well, to determine your total credit history length, the credit bureaus are not going to see that as a total of 10 years. What they're now going to do is say, okay, you have 2 credit cards equaling a total of 10 years. So 10 divided by 2 is going to be an average of 5 years. So now your credit history is going to be seen as 5 years versus a total of 10 years. Now, a quick tip to help you with your total length of credit history is to make sure that you're not closing any credit lines. When you close these credit lines down, you're actually going to be hurting your score. This is by far the most important aspect of your entire credit score. What's going on, everyone? My name is John and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be going over what makes up your credit score and how you can increase it fast or score. Now, a second tip that I have for helping increase your total credit history length is by opening up a credit card as soon as possible. For example, I opened up my first credit card when I was 18 years old, which, geez, was 9 years ago at this point. Is that right? I think it is. Wow, 9 years ago. Anyway, over 9 years ago, I opened up my first credit card. All I did with this credit card was simply just paid off, let's say, my gas bill every month. There was no huge expenses that I was putting through when I was 18 years old. So when I would go and grab gas for, let's say, $20 or $30, I would make sure to pay this off every single month, which helped with my total credit history. So I was able to establish that history very young and at a very early age, which now has helped me out tremendously when it comes to taking out other loans, as well as getting approved for things like cars, as well as mortgages. Okay, the fourth aspect of your credit score is the number of credit lines that you have open, as well as the general mix of credit that you have open. Now, I know that this sounds a little crazy. Why would having more credit lines open and having more loans out increase your credit score? It sounds a bit backwards, but it really does work the polar opposite way, how most people think. If we think about it, all of these different aspects of your credit that we've talked about so far are completely related and affect your credit score in a positive or negative way. So for example, if you have multiple credit lines open, you probably have a higher credit limit. Now, by having a higher credit limit, when you spend money, it's having less of an impact on your total credit utilization, which is going to increase your credit score. Also, by having multiple lines of credit, now you're making multiple payments each month as well. So for example, instead of having one credit card each and every month, if you have 4 or 5 different lines of credit that you're paying off in full every single month, now that's increasing the total number of payments that you're making, which once again is increasing your credit score. Now, wow, I know that this was a lot, but as you can see, it's all related and it all helps you increase your credit score in some way or another. Okay, the fifth and final aspect of your credit score is the number of hard inquiries that have been made on it. Now, this is only going to be making up a total of 10%, but it's still extremely important when it comes to determining as well as keeping a perfect or a very high credit score. A hard inquiry or a hard pull of your credit is essentially when you're applying for a new credit, the credit company or the bureau is going to be pulling this credit from you to understand what your financial standing is. They're going to be able to see all of your related loans that you have out to ensure that you're not high risk. While hard inquiries will be on your credit report for 2 years, they really only will affect your credit score for a few months. But if you go out and are getting a ton of different lines of credit and getting all of these different hard inquiries on your credit score, the credit bureaus are going to see this pretty negatively and wonder why you're trying to take out all of these different lines of credit. So if you're doing this, make sure that you're not doing it in very short amounts of time and try and space them out so that it's not having such a hard impact on your credit score in total. Now, we all know that hard inquiries are pretty much unavoidable because when you go and let's say look for a car or you're looking at a house, there's going to be probably multiple credit inquiries on this credit report. But the key note here is that if you're getting multiple hard inquiries of the same type, let's say if you go to multiple car dealerships or you're shopping around different lenders for a home, they're only going to be counting this as one hard inquiry because they can see and understand that you're probably in the home buying process or trying to get a new car loan. Okay, now that we understand all of the different aspects of our credit score, I'm gonna go over 3 tips that can help you increase your credit score by hundreds of points in the next 30 days. The first thing that I want you to do is to check your credit score from all 3 bureaus, whether that be Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. All of these sites are going to try and sell you something, but the key here is that it is completely free. You can go onto a website like annualcreditreport.com. No, this is not sponsored. And you're able to get a free credit report from all of the different bureaus. Once you have gotten these credit reports back, you want to make sure that all of the information is completely accurate. So whether that be your name, your social security number, and really if you're seeing anything that's out of the ordinary, always dispute it. When in doubt, just dispute anything that you don't recognize, because this can ultimately increase your credit score by simply just going ahead and disputing any wrong charges. The second tip that I have is to try and become an authorized user with somebody who has a great credit score and a great credit history. Now let me explain how this works. To become an authorized user on somebody else's account, all they have to do is actually add you as an authorized user on their account, and now your credit history is linked to theirs. Now this is not going to impact their credit history negatively at all. It's only going to have a positive impact on your credit history if you have, let's say, a 600 credit score. This is extremely common when people either get married, or I've heard a lot of times as well, if you have younger children, let's say 13 or 14 years old, you can add them as an authorized user and start helping them build their credit younger instead of having to wait until they're 18 years old. In the long run, I recommend that you really just try and increase your credit score by yourself, but this is a great way in the short term to help you positively impact your score and increase it in the next 30 days. The third tip that can help you increase your credit score in the next 30 days is to make much more frequent payments than just the typical one time a month. Let's say that you have a credit card bill that's due on the 15th of every month. Well, instead of just making this total payment on, let's say, the 14th, what you're going to want to do is to pay this down over the course of the month. So let's say that you have $1,000 on the credit card, maybe put $300 on the first, maybe the next week you put another $500, and then you pay off the rest when you get to the 15th. By making these more frequent payments, you're now showing the credit bureau every single time they pull your credit, they're seeing that your total credit that you're utilizing is lower and that you're paying it off more frequently, which will help you positively impact your total credit score. So there you have it. All of the aspects of your credit score that you need to know, as well as 3 quick tips to help you increase your credit score in the next 30 days. By implementing some of these tips, as well as just knowing what is making up your total credit score, it really will help you save thousands of dollars when you go to take out things like a mortgage, an auto loan, and any other credit lines that you may have. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video, and if you enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on the video and to also subscribe for more content. With that, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.